here we are at what I would assume the final battle of this arc, because there was confirmation from the editor that it is getting ready to go into the final arc of Chainsaw Man. And I will say, just as a small pet peeve that I now know, or at least would assume, given that it's like we're going into their arc and we're at 94 right now, small pet peeve of the fact that we are luckily going to get Chainsaw Man in the triple digit chapters. Like, there's something about it that if it stayed within the 90s and didn't go over into 100 would have bothered the hell out of me, just from a number standpoint. I don't know why, but I thought this chapter's pretty good. I mean, it was what it was supposed to be. It's just the start of the fight. It's just the action and seeing a little bit of Denji utilizing his like his upgraded powers, because he definitely had to have a higher level of his chainsaw abilities, no matter what. And the fact that his arms, he's got like the mechanical plating on it now, I felt like there had to be something that we got, and we did get to see like a really cool addition to his powers, like with his chain manipulation. I really liked that. I thought that was cool, just because it adds just an extra level of utility to Denji, you know, in general. And I really like that he's been using his chains in this chapter to kind of just whip himself around, kind of like Spider-Man himself into like different areas. I thought that was really cool. But Makima just, you know, brings out the zombie devil, and you get to see all these, like, you know, corpses rise up. I thought them using the crosses that they had, you know, at their graves as weapons was really cool. I always really wanted to make like a character that had like a cross and then like it turns over and like wields it like a sword or something, like just kind of like a battle priest. That would be sick. But obviously this is different because these are zombies. But him putting the chain is, you know, his arms in the ground and having the chainsaw chains like extend out, because it wasn't like he whipped them and then wrapped around something and kind of swung him. It's like he's freely manipulating the chainsaw. It's like arms in the ground, the chains kind of go out almost just like they're being controlled, kind of like what a character would have, like the tail, or I'm trying to think of just like another thing like off the top of my head, because I used Spider-Man earlier, but Spider-Man can't just like webs are out. I can freely manipulate them and like just move them like this. But you know what I mean? Kind of like a tendril, maybe, kind of thing. A plant character would probably come really handy, or no, poison ivy maybe, or you know what I mean? Because it's not the same as we've seen before. Like we've seen Denji, you know, it's like what we saw with even in this chapter when he sent out the chains, you know, wrapped around some of the crosses, and he was able to pull himself. This was like straight, like he had to like have them go on the ground, and then they're moving what, like snakes or something, or just driving right in and then cutting up a level of land and lifting it up and like throwing it at Makima's crew. I like that. I thought that was just a really cool way to show more things about his character. Like I would imagine that like he could, if say he's in a fight with somebody, like if he could get hhis arms hidden, make the chains like sneak up and maybe like attack somebody from behind, because he clearly can do it from below, and like just different ways he can utilize it. And it's not like some super complicated thing. Like the chainsaw, like the full chainsaw form we saw, if it eats a devil, it erases them and like any memories and stuff of them. So it, you know, broken power. And then it's like, wow, I mean, how exactly is that gonna like play out like in the long run? How does this work? Like, are there limitations and stuff? No, this is just like he's freely manipulating the chains and the blades on them. That's it. I think that's cool. It's just a really nice little addition to his powers. But then the Katana Devil, and I don't know what this other guy would just be, like the Sword Devil or Saber Devil, I don't know. You know, he's coming at Denji, and they end up just like slashing through that big piece of rubble that Denji threw at him. But that he was expecting that, like he came through there and just attacked both of them, gave them both slashes. You had the javelin guy, the Spear Devil, throw one right up there. Actually, no, he's not throwing. He's appearing behind him and stabbing him, because I was like gonna say he like wrote it up there, but I for some reason when I was looking at it, I didn't see Denji, and I thought the Spear Devil guy was on the ground. But he ends up stabbing Denji, and here he comes in. Rize and the nail person, you know, this nail hybrid. Denji just kind of like whips around and slashes all of them. I'm super curious, like legitimately, if Rize wasn't controlled, would she be much better here? Because from what we've seen, she doesn't seem as like as free to use her powers because she's being controlled by Makima. And I think that's like maybe somehow hindering her kind of thought process, just like her free thinking ability to figure out like new abilities and stuff. You know, think out Like, we don't see that missile leg or anything. She's not as clever here as like what we saw before. But obviously this is like an upgraded Denji. It could just be that he's way more powerful right now. It would make total sense. But I don't know. I feel like it would be like a good kind of way to implement like, oh, she doesn't have as... She's not able to utilize hybrids like to their full extent in like someone like Reze's case, where Reze was very, very experienced with her abilities. Like she was probably one of the most experienced characters we've seen in the series, just from different ways she would implement her her explosions and obviously her regeneration abilities, and as well as just like how she moves. Like she was very smart when it came to just, you know, putting out the process of her attacks. But all these zombies are just dogpiling on Denji. And Makima even mentions that he's a lot weaker than before. I feel like that's obvious. Like anybody can just look literally at the size difference and the fact that he's like doesn't have 4 arms and everything, and say, oh yeah, he's not going to be as powerful. Like there would only way that this form would be above that one if like that form evolved into this one. But we know that that was like his full form, and this is like where Denji's at now. But she's what we have like Makima, like she's saying like the whole world essentially has accepted the Chainsaw Man, and because of that, like people aren't as afraid of him anymore, and that's obviously making him weaker. That being a thing, and I like how I kind of like really heavily put on that like first part of the word that, but that being the thing with Denji's setup is makes me wonder like how exactly are they gonna beat Makima, because it's not the same as like the full Chainsaw where, you know, he could like just destroy, like cut her up and eat her, or he could literally just go at her until like she runs out of energy. I'm actually curious of that, because we know that if she dies, she'll come back to life because of the contract she has with the Prime Minister. I wonder if he would have to kill a Prime Minister in order to like null that out. But I'm wondering if she wouldn't run out of energy, like if she could just stay up, like she has infinite stamina or something. Because if she has infinite lives, and regen doesn't mean, I guess it's not infinite because it's limited to a high number, but it's just still a limited number of the people in Japan. But even in the idea of, you know, having X many extra lives exists, it doesn't mean that she would instantly have as much energy. But I guess she would literally kind of just like, if she wanted to, she could kind of just lay down on the ground and go to sleep, and Denji wouldn't be able to kill her in time by the time like hours later, and she just kind of wakes up ready to fight again. But oh, I lost my train of thought actually when I was talking about that. Oh, but with Denji, like even see like the I don't know what this guy would just be like, kind of like flamethrower devil, I guess. But well, I guess actually that makes the most sense. I was gonna say blowtorch at first, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. And then for some reason, when I said it out loud, I said flamethrower, and then I questioned like my wording on that midway. But Denji, you know, he's getting set on fire. That's when you see him send the chains out and, you know, wrap around some of the crosses, and then he kind of like pulls himself and rushes Kianshi, you know, slashes her up. Well, no, she blocks it, and then he slashes the flamethrower devil. Actually, I somehow just noticed in that panel that he has a chainsaw in his leg. Like I read these way earlier when they came out because I was at work at the time, and you know, I was taking a break just trying to read through some of the chapters. I somehow missed that. I thought it was his head one, but that's cool. He's got 4 chainsaws out now, and well, he's had more, I guess, but that's his fuller form when he has the, you know, 4 arms and the head chainsaw. Probably, you know, could make leg chainsaws like super easy like this too. But she blocks it. He ends up like in the process slicing up the flamethrower hybrid, and just getting ready to keep going. You know, here he is just right at that point beheading Kianshi, just slashing her, taking her down right now, right there. And I mean, I guess she could not just be dead, but she get healed up. I'm wondering how some of these guys are gonna get back up, but at that point he's already like heavily damaged. Makima just kind of goes up and you know, puts her finger to her hand, blows a hole in it, and then gives like is forcefully giving Denji her blood so he can kill her personally. So Makima, though, the thing about Makima, again, it's really going to be hard because it's very clear that Fujimoto has planned this all out. Like, Chainsaw Man is probably longer than he was initially expecting, but we know with it already going in the final arc, he knows how the rest of the story is going to go. It's not like, oh, I have it set to like you know, 120 chapters, and then it's like it get extended to like 150, so he's got to like either stretch out some parts, add in some parts, or do a whole new arc kind of thing, where it's like he clearly has his whole rest of the series set up, so he knows how they're going to beat Makima. How exactly that is the big question. because Makima's not only really smart, but she's obviously got a lot of powers, and you know the whole thing about her. You know, anytime there's somebody else in Japan that she has extra lives as many as the people in Japan, essentially, because her contract with the prime minister. So on top of already being pretty powerful and having all these different abilities, she literally has all of these hybrids that are immortal, essentially, if you give them blood at her disposal. How is he gonna beat her? Like, again, it's something that I'm sure isn't gonna be like too crazy. Like, I'm sure Denji could think of something. Maybe he'll try and get a bitch up into space or something, or he'll try to eat her. I guess we don't know exactly if like he tried to eat her in this form, if it would do anything. Either way, though, it's a very interesting setup, just based off of, you know, that from the fact that Makima was already super suspect, or sus as they say now, at the very beginning. Chapter 1, it was very clear that Fujimoto's been setting this up from chapter 1, the Makima stuff. So he's probably long since thought exactly how he's going to beat her. But I'm wondering, like, if Denji tries to eat her, if that's going to do the same thing, or if he's going to maybe, like, I'm still hoping he finds out a way to unlock Reze. Well, like, cancel Makima's control on Reze. I was like, unlock, but she's not locked. It's a different thing. I don't know, though. It could easily just end with us never really getting Reze back on his side. I really like their chemistry, but maybe Power will, in fact, be his, you know, his final person, like his ship, or maybe he'll get Reze, and like the whole little sister thing with Power will just kind of stay that way and not kind of develop further than that. Who knows? But I don't know. I'm just sitting here trying to like figure out like anything right now that we know of that could lead to Makima. I guess maybe, okay, actually, small thing. I thought of one thing off the top of my head. I'll just put in here for the people that you know made it to the end of this review. What if Denji, because as we have seen rather, that the hybrids can still make contracts with devils. It's not the same. Like, we know that devils can't make contracts with other devils, as well as fiends can't make contracts with other devils, because a fiend is, you know, is just a devil essentially that is now fully merged into a human's body. And that means Denji, like as we saw with Power, can make another contract. What if Denji makes a contract with either the Darkness Devil or some other primordial devil? Because we don't know exactly like the full scale of like where Makima stands in hell, but the whole fact that when the Darkness Devil initially showed up and the arm spelt out Makima's name, it makes me wonder, like, do the primordial devils like want to deal with Makima too? Because they probably would if they were over here, but none of them have ever died, so they're not over in this world. Which actually, extra bonus, if Denji goes to hell in this next arc and he has to fight primordial devils and he kills them, that's just gonna send him to Earth, like the normal living world. Like, is Chainsaw Man gonna end with Denji and Power happily living in hell, with like Earth in ruin because Denji sends multiple like conceptual, like deepest fears of human existence, like powerful demons or devils, I guess, or whatever, same thing, like just appearing like in the world living all at once, like we saw what the Gun Devil did. Imagine if we have multiple of devils the same caliber as the Darkness Devil just popping up all around the world. Earth would be completely screwed. It'd be completely screwed. They would, as far as we know, like the strongest people out there, like people like Kianshi and Santa Claus and stuff, we don't know if there's anybody that would be able to otherwise stop them. Because here's Makima. Kishibe is probably the only one. Maybe Kishiba will make part 2 of the series. Like, maybe there'll be a full continuation, or I guess it'd be a sequel, where it's like Kishibe training people into like fight these primal devils and stuff. But anyway, other than that though, comment below, tell me your thoughts are about this. I like how this battle music actually kind of goes well with this panel of Denji colliding into Kianshi. Let me turn it up a little bit. But yeah, it just, I think that this will be just a really interesting couple chapters. There's probably gonna be a lot of really just deeper panels. I see people trying to make a lot out of like everything lately with Chainsaw Man, trying to find deeper things, because Fujimoto definitely puts it in there. I mean, go back and look at right before Makima killed Power, when you had like the painting on the wall of her apartment, I believe was like the fall of Lucifer, you know, the the betrayer, the deceiver, you know, this big super evil devil, and then you have Power go an unfortunate way of dead by Makima. Anyway, other than that though, I gotta end it. I keep distracting myself, but yeah, thanks everyone for listening to the video that obviously got this far, and then really appreciate if you comment below, thumbs up the video, but friend the like button and the subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Other than that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed. Thank you all for listening. Bye.